If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. Let's talk about a possible Polo G and Lil Tjay collab tape, because obviously this has been in the talks for the past 3 years, ever since they first collaborated and got associated with one another, and we just got another hint that might be giving us some more evidence and nodding in that direction that there is actually a tape from both of them coming soon. So let's talk about this. Let's see what we have on the history of this and what this new evidence that I'm about to show y'all could mean for the credibility and for the actual validity of this thing happening. So let's jump straight into this. So to kind of give y'all a little history on this and how people first started out wanting collab tape from both of them. It all started with Pop Out. Really, the song that they had, it wasn't number one. I don't think it was number one, but it was trending in number one on Spotify and Apple Music and all there. Pretty big song back in 2019 when that dropped. It was on Polo G's Die a Legend record, which is actually a dope record, way better than, for example, Hall of Fame and Hall of Fame 2. I know we can have discussions about that, and y'all have spoken positively about this. While I didn't like it too much, y'all know my criticism of it. Y'all know that I think he stuck too much to old formulas, quote unquote piano G. Y'all know what I'm saying, y'all know what I mean. But that was really where it all started. The two of them kind of seemed to have great energy, they seemed to have great chemistry together. They could both kind of deliver in the same lane of hip-hop, that more singing and that melodic hip-hop style, but then still being able to rap on for Polo G, for example, on heavy drill beats and stuff like that. Lil Tjay has proven that as well in the past, for example, on State of Emergency. Zoo York, for example, great track. But that's kind of where it all started. And since then, they've released songs after that. For example, in 2020, we got First Place, which didn't go as big, but it was still another track to keep in mind. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought that this track was pretty good, but it didn't go as big as Pop Out, obviously, because that's very rare. They've also collaborated on both of their latest records. For example, Lil Tjay was on Suicide off of Hall of Fame, and Polo G was also on Destined to Win, that dropped in April of 2021 on Headshot, which was one of the singles and one of the best songs, or one of the better songs on there, because that album was really not it. And also Hall of Fame, y'all know that I don't like it that much, so kind of say the two of them have since then dropped subpar material. And especially Tjay, this dude was a young guy from New York, ready to take over the world, and for some reason nobody cares about him anymore. Polo G is still in the conversation. Polo G is still very solid fan base. People still talking about him very much, but Lil Tjay not so much. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's fallen off, because I believe he can still come back and drop a hit. We've seen him, he had a hit on Destined to Win. We had the Black feature on there. What's it called? Call on My Phone. That's the one. And he recently also dropped In My Head, which went pretty big, but it was nothing too crazy. Also artistically, Polo G always staying relevant. But let's actually look at what we know about this thing so far. So the two of them have never publicly talked about it that much, but there is some evidence on it that we can go over that hints at this. For example, only end of last year, December 28th, 2021, we have Lil Tjay on Instagram previewing a track with Polo G in the studio. We can see a little video of him in the studio. It's a 30-second clip, almost got 1 million views. Y'all can go check that out if you haven't yet. He's quoting some of the lyrics in the caption, and he says, "I ain't saying I'm the best, but I don't see nobody close to me. Man getting smoked, trying to compete with me. Adios. Spam the comments if you think me and Polo G should drop this." So here he was directly hinting at him and Polo G having another track together. And if it's not part of an album or one of their projects rolling out, there is a possibility that there is a mutual album or a collaborative album coming out. Of course, it could also just be a single like First Place was, but I think First Place was more of an attempt to recreate Pop Out and to have that chemistry and the two people that people already know on the same track together again, and recreate that that wave back from Pop Out, and it doesn't seem like this new one is trying to do that, since it does, you know, it's been a while ever since Pop Out, and I don't think that association would still work like that. But actually, it was interesting, like the number one thing that I wanted to show y'all today. While this is still pretty good evidence, it was about 20 weeks ago, we did get like this snippet, and people are still to this day, only a couple of days ago, people still commented, please drop this and stuff like that. Is really funny. But if this dropped, it would be hella cool. But just a couple of days ago, this actually only happened like a day ago, probably like a couple of hours, a Polo G fan page posted Polo G and Lil Tjay must do a collab tape real soon. And they also posted one of those, you know, concept cover arts that fans have made. It's called Came a Long Way. It's not sure if that's actually going to be the final name of the record, of course. It's, you know, it's a possibility, but we don't really know it. That's most of it is just fan theories. But the important part here, the actually important part that is so interesting to look at, is that Polo G actually liked this tweet. That is like what's actually interesting. And Polo G is not somebody who would just like this randomly if it didn't mean anything. And rappers usually don't do this. You know, if you're a rapper and you see someone having a theory out there, if they have a theory, an assumption, you don't publicly engage with this unless you know it's true, or you somehow want to hint at, you know, for the fans at it for it to be true. So this is, I think, of course, we always got to take this with a grain of salt. This is not definitive evidence of them actually dropping a record. This is not an official announcement, but it is a pretty good hint and a pretty sure kind of, you know, indication that something is likely in the works. And, you know, that coupled with the snippet that Lil Tjay showed kind of got people talking about this, and I get why. So it's still a possibility, as I said. It's just a theory, but I think that supports it quite well. But we're going to have to wait on their official confirmation on any of this to know if it's confirmed and if it's actually true. And if you always want to stay up to date with this, make sure you're subscribed, because as you can tell with this one, I'm right here reporting this as it happened to y'all. So this new Polo G, Lil Tjay tape might be happening soon. We don't know when it's coming. Could still be this year. Could also not be. But if Polo G is out here liking that stuff, it might as well be this year, because, you know, Lil Tjay said that they should drop it. So go spam Lil Tjay's comments. Go make sure that Polo G notices that and knows that y'all want the record, because I really want this, and I think that, you know, could be very exciting. So this what happened. But of course, now I want to know what you think about this, because the conversation with the fans and the people is actually what makes this so interesting, and when people have theories about this. So let me know what you think about this. Do you think this possible tape is coming? Do you think it's going to be called Came a Long Way? How do you feel about the snippet that Tjay dropped? What do you think about Polo G liking the tweet that, you know, this fan page put out? And when do you think this album is dropping? All of this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.